Chun kan minnow pawl in fiang chun kan minnow pawl in fiang deu in an thei thiam dinga. English in khal molte kasin ve ding si. Van cao tlang tất cùng kan nor na khi katum zikte akim chwa cho zo. Akum kumin het zet in an sak mi an bunker kan khwai thei lo ronga. Atu lo in nunak liam le shiam tuar khal kan re hero zo. Atu I 35,000 hi bunker khwai nak ding cherek mutum le nak hrang asi. Atu van cao tlang kan lak thei lo le nunak liam bet atu pang ding. Mutum hi kan dik lo. Kan dik lo ronga kan dung asip atu chun kan me pi le kan ra ka po I. An tuar mi hua kha alakina chang thei. Kan thi ya dai pang le a hram esen thok sa te mi hi tel hasatak asangai ngai. Cherek mutum tam zat kan tul bet kan thei ko. Atu rori hi pek chan chu asi. Tu phim bung thum chang kul hon riat a. Na in hian kha tu rori at na bom thei mi asile. Thai zing tiang hak tar hla tina Kan ni chu kan bom mi an silo so ko. Kan du ti rori mi asi. Tu mi fan kan hold on chu leibak ne in kan thok. Kan pu Con Bik I tu le fa kan ma sung isen. Aram chang mi po ni 32,000 kan loan. Chu le tu pakhat ni thong thum a donate I aza den chu 35,000 kan swat thei asi. Kan loan mi hi 32,000 hi kan ma sung isen. Aram chang mi po ni kum khat sunga kwan the dingen commitment kan tua. Paisa nei deu le million zo han kan lo. Giang vek na kan tuan chu kan thei ok tu. Kan pek suak thei nak chu kan thin lung ronga asi. Atu I 35,000 suak go in azwam tu po hi. Ral khal kan do pa. Kan me pi ra tlan po khal azo pa re ro tu kan si. Sumpai kan khon nak hi khon khat long asilo. Churong a paisa cham nak chu a bit of vivo go. Al hei fon te mi chu kan nei shim lo. Chulaya nun nak tap ro rin ral do re ro tu an so ko. Churong a kan za ten akwa zongin mo. Sungkhat una ropi zongin mo. Shenam zongin mo. Te ma kan swa atu ri. Apek tu mi pong kan tam le. Mo te cher kan bur khom hana. Tu zan kan hu vekin tam pi aswak ko thei si. Kan harsa kan date lo kan te ring le chun. Kum kwan kan date da chuang lo. Kan hekok atul. Churong a zoman kan dai thang thei lo. Thusim tu bung hra chang thei reda. Dai thang rong a in luang lu in bo achim tin kan mu. Gan in luang lu kan in bo asimi kan Jerusalem pi achim lo nak dinga. Kan za pi ten tuan vo kan nei. Na hak po kalin tuan ve an nei ve. Ka an cham thei si? Ka tu te pa ni kum thum le kum nga te khal an pa ka u pa ni. Kan ram ok tu thalo ronga ra kan do tu mi pi an har sa thu asim hai te ka tha an cham sak ring. Na hak tha cham ti mi hi. Thil men asalo pathian ni asang ding ka zum zat. Kan ram le mi phun du dot thiam ding in FALAM a sok teng kan tu lo so ko. Lai ta nga kan sok fek lo khale. Ma I ram le mi phun du dot a thei. Takin ka sim lai kai khal kan rama sok mi ka selo so ko. Atu tianga kan ram le long hi ke yen ve khat te man apol da shi lo. Atidai khal in da shi lo atli khal hop da shi lo. Asanan FALAMi kan veng min po chu tampi ka thei ko. Kan pu so po mi veng min chu dol hon asi te mi tla ka thei nek. Zoom tu kan si vekin Bible chu kan nei chau si. Chumi Bible sunga Moses, Nehemiah, Ezra te poi an tuan tu o umtlu. Joseph khal Egypt rama uktu boy si kaunan. Nantlung teka intan ta hlau atihai. Moses ni aru atun pik ti kha kan thei. Hemi mo he kan zo tim dinga pathiani impact mi asa so ko. Churonga zo man he excuse kan nei thelo. Atu achun mirang tongen kasim du mi mote kasim tlangding. So I want to say a few words in English to our youth, specifically those who live in America, since we are live on CCRC USA. If you are listening, have you ever considered what was sacrificed by others so that you and I can enjoy the freedoms we have here in America? Who do you think were the ones that sacrificed for their country, for future generations like us? Perhaps figures like George Washington or Benjamin Franklin come to your mind. Now, both of those men were important and they made many sacrifices. However, I want to point out a very important fact. The individuals who fought for America's freedom were young people. Most of them were in their early 20s, with some as young as 15 fighting in the front lines. We see throughout history that young people always make an important difference. That is also the case today with the revolution in Burma. So many young people have answered the call to free Burma once and for all from dictatorship. We see it clearly with our very own CNO, CNDF. Instead of living a normal life like you and I, they chose to fight for their people now and for future generations, just like those who fought for America's freedom did. Now, I mentioned sacrifice. We all know from scripture that the ultimate act of sacrifice is to lay down one's life for another. It was just last week that one of our CNDF soldiers, Salai Pir Junghin, made the ultimate sacrifice. He was just 18 years old, just 18. One day, we will be able to honor him and others who sacrificed their life and limb for their country. But the fact remains that Salai Pir Junghin is no longer with us. The sting of death lingers on. Friends, it is not my intention to make this depressing, but I want us all to soak in what it really means to sacrifice. When his mother wakes up in the morning, his voice will not return her call. When his friends text him, only silence will remain. When his comrades take a short break on the battlefield to eat, their friends' laughter will no longer fill the air. Think of someone his age that is near and dear to you. And just try to imagine what losing that person would feel like. For me, I think of my two cousins immediately. For you, it might be your brother or your sister. But the reality is that Salai Pir Junghen is our brother. And so are all the ones he left behind. They are our brothers and our sisters. And even now, his comrades are fighting to drive out the Tatmadaw from FALAM. We cannot sit idly by. We cannot do nothing. I know some of you have already given much, but so many more have yet to give. Unless we fulfill our duty to our brothers and sisters, the Tatmadaw will not be driven out of FALAM. Why duty? Well, scripture teaches us that we are our brother's keepers. Unlike Cain, who disregarded his brother Abel in his heart and in his actions, Christ shows us through his tears for Lazarus' death and the pain that Mary and Martha experienced that God cares. And because Christ cares, he grieves with Mary and Martha. Then he showed that he cares through his actions. What about you and me today? Salai Pir Junghin comrades care. That's why they are still fighting now. It is because they care that they get closer to the enemy when the bombs are being dropped on them instead of retreating so that the enemy will also get hit if the bomb lands on them. This is just not for one day or a few weeks. This is every day until the Tatmadaw is defeated. If they are willing to sacrifice that much, what about you and me? What are we willing to sacrifice? We all know it's not easy living in America. However, freedom requires sacrifice. That was true during the American Revolutionary War and is just as true today in Burma. Imagine if each young person over the age of 18 gave $10 a month, just $10 a month. We could easily achieve over $20,000 a month. Friends, surely all of us can squeeze out $10 a month. And even if we may not realize the significance of the moment, I tell you, others do. For example, a reporter recently embedded himself with PDF Zolan and made videos on YouTube detailing his experience. Please go watch it. He made a very important observation. If the revolutionary forces lose and the Tatmadaw wins, Burma will become like North Korea. If the revolutionary forces win, Burma will become like South Korea. Join or die. Those were the words of Benjamin Franklin during the American Revolutionary War to unite the colonies. Friends, will you join in this revolution or watch FALAM and Burma die? Kalungoy.
Ole,